Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube video. Today we're going to talk about the Pluto. We're going to mention about why it is not a planet anymore. So let's get to the presentation now. Here we go. So why is Pluto not a planet? Since its discovery in 1930, Pluto has been a bit of a puzzle. So, as I mean by that puzzle, astronomers have argued throughout the years on whether Pluto should be classed as a planet or not. So, so a lot of arguments were taking place between astronomers since it was discovered in 1930, whether they should class this Pluto as a planet or not. So now we're going to talk about four good reasons to why Pluto should not be a planet. So one, it's smaller than any other planet in our solar system. So Pluto is so small that it's even comparing it with the moon is smaller. As you can see on the bottom left photo, the moon is 3,475 kilometers in diameter. Pluto is only 2,376 kilometers in diameter, so a lot smaller than the moons of our own. Of course, it's also really far away. So now we're going to go to the next page. It's dense and rocky, like the other terrestrial planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. However, its nearest neighbours are the gaseous Jovian planets Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. For this reason, many scientists believe that Pluto originated elsewhere in the space and got caught in the sun's gravity. Some astronomers once theorized that Pluto used to be one of Neptune's moons that broke off its orbit. So, there are lots of possibilities to why Pluto came to existence. Of course, we got the Neptune, which is right before Pluto, and also next to Pluto, there's Kuiper belt objects. So we don't know exactly where Pluto came from, but some thinks that it could be from somewhere in the outer space. It decided to come to us because of the sun's extreme gravity, or it was one of Neptune's moons that broke off its orbit. Now we're going to go to the next reason, next page. Its orbit is erratic. The planets in our solar system all orbit the Sun in a relatively flat plane. Pluto, however, orbits the Sun at a 7-degree angle to this plane. In addition, its orbit is exceptionally elliptical and crosses the Neptune's orbit. Pluto's orbital period is about 248 years. So you can see on this artwork here of our outer solar system showing Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, and of course Pluto. Now look at the orbit difference on the Pluto, comparing it with the other planets that orbit around the Sun in the outer solar system, with a Kuiper belt in its background. So now Pluto's largest moon is Charon. It is about half the size of Pluto. Some astronomers have recommended that the two objects be treated as binary system rather than a planet and satellite. Wow. Uh, the binary objects, whether it looks like a planet or a star, it means when they're classed as binary, it means they are not orbiting around any parent objects. But Charon, one of Pluto's moons, is actually, in fact, orbiting around Pluto itself. So maybe, in my opinion, I could class it as a natural satellite, but a lot of scientists or astronomers strongly recommend that they don't class as either planet or satellite. And now Pluto's distance from the Sun is about 5.9 billion kilometers from the Sun, but varies due to erratic orbit. The coolest point to the Sun is around, closest, sorry guys, the closest point to the Sun is around 2.75 billion kilometers. So, very big difference here comparing to whichever position the Pluto is at every time it orbits around the Sun and that. It takes 248 years to orbit. Of course, it's erratic orbit, so that means the way it's orbiting is different. So, some positions it could be 5.9 billion kilometers from the Sun, some positions could be 2.75 billion kilometers from the Sun. So, very different compared to the other planets, the way they orbit. Is Pluto a planet? Now, we all know the answer, probably. So, the answer is, as you probably guess, it's no. On August 24th, 2006, the International Astronomical Union, the IAU, an organization of professional astronomers, passed two resolutions that collectively revoked Pluto's planetary status. So the IAU has officially um, revoked Pluto's planetary status on August the 24th, 2006, because it did not meet any criteria for it to become an official planet. So, what is a Pluto then? As you're wondering, I'm sure most of us know this answer, but we're going to tell you now, right now. Uh, Pluto is now classified as dwarf planets. So, um, so the Pluto is a dwarf planet now, along with the other dwarf planets that have been discovered. We have Makemake, which is a silly, which is a different name. Haumea, Ceres, Eris, and of course, Pluto, since which has been a dwarf planet since 2006. Pluto is a complex and mysterious world with mountains, valleys, plains, craters, and maybe some glaciers. Pluto's surface temperatures can be as cold as between minus 375 to minus 400 degrees Celsius. Pluto has a thin, tenuous, I can never pronounce that word, tenuous atmosphere that expands when it comes closer to the Sun and collapses as it moves further away, very similar to the comets. Comets are all located in Kuiper's belt, and sometimes they come into our solar system and go around the sun and then head straight back out to the outer space. So same thing happens with Pluto with its atmosphere. When every time Pluto gets close to the sun and that, this is the artwork on what Pluto's surface could actually look like um, along with the its moon's Charon, which is also on the artwork. And look at the sun on this artwork. This is apparently what the sun would look like from the surface of Pluto. So very tiny, almost as big as um, the stars that we see in the night sky, but this is the actual sun that we are having in our solar system, the one we use for as our main hub for life creation and that. So, what are dwarf planets? The dwarf planets are, of course, the tiny little planets that orbit around the orbit in our outer solar system. But this is something that we are going to discuss in the next video. We're going to talk a lot more about dwarf planets, but let's go back to the beginning now, so we can review what we've talked about today. So, of course, we've talked about why Pluto is not a planet anymore. We gave 4 good reasons to why Pluto should not be a planet. Of course, it's smaller than every other planet, even smaller than Earth's moons. It's very, very similar to the other planets that are closer to us, like Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. But of course, it's more closer to the gas planets like Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter. All these planets here are gas filled planets, and Pluto is located right next to these planets, and its orbit is erratic, as we mentioned earlier. The orbit is very different compared to ours. It's tilted more like instead of being flat. 17-degree angle to this plane. Uh, and its orbital period is 248 years. Pluto's largest moon is Charon. Of course, it's half the size of Pluto. And some astronomers wanted it to be treated as the binary system rather than a planet or a satellite, because some astronomers thought that these planets have neither a star or its moons, parental object to orbit around. So they're called binary objects, and that's what they want, and that's what some astronomers wanted Pluto and Charon to be classified as. So Pluto's distance from the Sun is about 5.9 billion kilometers. Again, it's very far away, but of course the orbit is very erratic because it's tilted at 17 degrees. Certain points is 5.9 billion kilometers, but some point it could actually be 2.75 billion kilometers. Oh, and I forgot to mention earlier, the orbit of Pluto around the Sun is so different that it sometimes even crosses into Neptune's orbit. I think I mentioned that earlier as well. Yes, I did. So it crosses the Neptune's orbit, but I don't think it will ever have a direct contact with the Neptune itself. So is Pluto a planet? No, Pluto is not a planet. Since 2006 has been classed as the dwarf planets now. So dwarf planets is something that we are going to discuss in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video, you guys. This is a lovely artwork of this Pluto's surface, along with its moon and its sun, our sun as well. So, yes, so we're going to talk about the dwarf planets in the next video. So, guys, I'm going to finish the video here. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, I enjoy talking about it a lot. That's why I do videos about the space. I hope you guys enjoyed too. And we're going to be talking about dwarf planets in the next video. But I have to let you know, guys, that I will not be uploading a video tomorrow because it's my break time. I work hours every day to just make this presentation. I spent all afternoon trying to build the presentation, so that's why I'm actually quite tired. So tomorrow there won't be any video, but there will be a video in 2 days to come. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you and have a great evening. Cheerio.